Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news we're following is out of Detroit's west side. We've learned that 7 people have been shot overnight.
Police tell us that 1 person has died and 6 others were injured. It happened in the area of Plymouth Road near Coyle Street near Greenfield. This is still unfolding this morning. We'll keep you up to date with any new information here on Local 4 and clickondetroit.com.
And a tragedy on the west side of the state. 2 people are dead after a drunk driver crashes into a group of bike riders. This happened at an annual bike tour sponsored by Make-A-Wish Michigan.
The 3-day bike tour starts in Traverse City and ends in Marshall. The crash happened around 11 yesterday morning as the group was making its way through Ronald Township and Ionia County.
Sadly, 2 people died from their injuries. 3 others remain in the hospital. Megan Woods joins us with more.
We spoke to a Metro Detroit man who says this was his very first time participating in the bike tour. He tells us that he felt very safe. He said that local law enforcement at times were there blocking off traffic, and so to hear that 2 people were killed is shocking.
It was just very tragic to hear, and it shakes you up a little bit.
The Wish a Mile ride is 3 days of hundreds of cyclists riding from Traverse City to Marshall to raise money for Make-A-Wish families. An exciting moment for John Witz until he received news that 5 cyclists were hit by a driver. 2 of them were killed.
Like, I did not run into one person who was not smiling out there and trying to encourage. You know, I was a rookie rider, so there was just so much encouragement, and so just so many great people, and all of those people, including myself, were visibly shaken.
Ionia County Sheriff's Office says it was around 11 Saturday morning when a SUV driving northbound crossed the center line trying to pass another car and hit those 5 cyclists. The driver was arrested for 2 counts of operating while intoxicated, causing death, and has not yet been charged. John says he won't allow that driver's actions to break the spirit behind what this ride represents.
It's a beautiful ride with beautiful spirits, and those spirits will not be stopped from, doing great things.
This was the 35th annual Wish a Mile bike tour, and Make-A-Wish Michigan had sent out an email to riders that night explaining what happened, giving support. They also had a gathering at 7 o'clock at the latest stop just to make sure that everyone was together and to offer grief counseling information. In Detroit, I'm Megan Woods, Local 4.
So sad and so scary. This morning, Detroit police investigating a pair of deadly shootings on the city's west side. This latest happened yesterday afternoon at the home on Wisconsin Street near Wyoming. Police say an argument broke out between a man and the mother of his child. We're told 2 men walked into the home and shots were fired. Police believe the woman does not live there. 1 man died of his injuries and another is in critical condition at the hospital, although it's unclear who those 2 people are. Police say they've taken 3 people in for questioning. Now to an update about a story we told you about yesterday morning. Detroit police have arrested someone in connection with a triple shooting that left 1 man dead. It happened Friday night near Stouple and Livernois, close to McNichols. Police tell us a truck was parked on Stouple and another man was walking down the street when shots were fired. Chief James White says the department is working hard to stop senseless gun violence.
These are acquainted violent episodes. Everybody's got a gun. Everybody's deciding to resolve conflict with a gun. And, we're going to continue to investigate these charges and make arrests and get these illegal weapons off the street. If you got a gun, leave it at home. It's no place to bring a gun to an argument. You're making horrible decisions. People are getting hurt. People are dying. And we're going to do everything we can to do something about it and get these trigger pullers off the street.
The chief went on to say that he'll provide an update on the investigation into both shootings sometime this week.
Time now is 7:04, and just days after testing negative for COVID and being cleared to leave the White House, President Biden has tested positive again and is now back in isolation. White House Dr. Kevin O'Connor says the president is not showing symptoms. He received negative test results since Tuesday night before testing positive yesterday morning. The president increased his testing cadence to protect people around him. He has not restarted treatment at this time, but he will be under close observation. However, he will follow strict isolation procedures. And President Biden was treated with Paxlovid, an antiviral therapy which has proven effective in treating coronavirus. He's part of a small percentage of patients treated with Paxlovid who experience rebound COVID. Here's our doctor, Frank McGeorge, to explain.
What the president is experiencing is something that's being called rebound after taking Paxlovid. A certain number of people with COVID who use Paxlovid will have their virus levels suppressed enough by the Paxlovid that they will test negative and they will feel better. But once the Paxlovid is stopped, the virus begins to build up in their body again. They begin excreting virus and they test positive again. As long as that person doesn't have any symptoms, it doesn't really mean anything. But because you test positive again, you need to re-isolate because at that point you are actively infectious one more time.
And the White House says the president's planned trip to Saginaw County on Tuesday has been canceled. No word yet on if it will be rescheduled.
We are just days away from the August 2nd primary, and there are several heated races in Michigan's congressional districts, including some districts who had some big political names visit this past week. Primary season down to the final days, and campaigns are making their final pushes in the home stretch. On the Democratic side, Senator Bernie Sanders in town for Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Andy Levin.
I am delighted to be here with you to tell you that it is absolutely imperative we do everything we can in the next several days.
After Tlaib brought in the squad last week, Levin locked in a highly watched race in the new 11th district against Congresswoman Haley Stevens. Both campaigns offering dozens of door-knocking events around the metro online, as attack ads have turned the race ugly. In the 13th district, candidates like Shri Tanadar and Adam Hollier spending big on political ads in what has become one of the more expensive media races in the state.
John James.
On the Republican side, the party highlighting their candidates for the new 9th and 10th districts, Congresswoman Lisa McClain and John James. Both are expected to win their primaries on Tuesday. James running for a newly open seat, hoping to win in November after losing the Senate race in 2020. Lisa McClain running in the new 9th, technically the incumbent, also expected to win her race. Both candidates at this weekend's launch for the fall, 100 days from the midterms, but confident the primaries will go their way.
I think this is going to be the G2 election, and it's going to come down to kitchen table issues like gas and groceries.
We're focused on getting through this primary, and whoever makes it to the Democrat primary, I'll answer that question later.
Candidates, campaigns, and voters racing to an exciting finish to a busy primary season. The deadline to register to vote and to apply for an absentee ballot has already passed, but if you're registered right now and still want an absentee ballot, you can still get one from your clerk's office until 4 p.m. on Monday. And this Tuesday night, Local 4 Plus has your special primary election coverage. Our Devin Skillian will be live with our pollster and election experts to break down the results as they come in and take a look at the trends as they develop all night long. That is Tuesday night starting at 8 p.m. on Local 4 Plus. It was an exciting and fun day along the Detroit River Walk as members of the Detroit Fire Department take part in a game of tug of war with Windsor's Fire Department.
24 members from each fire department participated in the annual Tug Across the Water event on Saturday. Organizers say this unique version of tug of war involves pulling 1,000 feet of cable across the water. Well, Saturday's winner, none other than the Detroit Fire Department.
The Detroit Fire Department are victorious again. Hail to the champions, hail to the victors. We beat Windsor again. It's all in fun, but we always plan on winning. So we brought it home again for the Detroit Fire Department, for the city of Detroit.
I was counting how many times he said again. We noticed,
Did you
okay?
feel that one a little bit?
Yeah, I do. Detroit fire officials say they pulled the rope in 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Of course, congratulations to one of the best fire departments in the world, DFD. Although, you know, as your resident Canadian, it's a little challenging.
I was going to say, I bet a small Canadian part of you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on,
the one that's like totally, you know, addicted to maple syrup was like, come on.
Right. I think they should have to pull it against each other across the river.
Oh, right?
Boats and everything.
Yeah,
you gotta fight it.
And you just see the ferry stopping, like, okay.
You can sell tickets to it.
Yeah,
you can do it.
For sure. I would be in attendance for sure with my little Tim Hortons cup.